I set my ex-boyfriend's photo as my computer wallpaper. When Professor Robert Clark saw it, he fell silent. "Do you know him?" Without thinking, I answered, "This is my boyfriend." The next day, my advisor enthusiastically invited me to his home for dinner. When the door opened, Jake and I stared at each other in shock. "Son, I brought your girlfriend home." I desperately scanned the walls for escape routes. I was the one who dumped him years ago. After revising my thesis according to feedback, I slept like a baby from morning till night. 7 missed calls from Professor Robert greeted me upon waking. "Can you come now?" I grabbed my laptop and raced to his office. My heart sank seeing the document covered in crimson comments. Professor Robert kept sighing heavily, making my palms sweat. As I zoned out, he accidentally minimized the window, revealing a photo of a smiling young man with tender eyes. A clearly girlfriend-captured moment. The subject was Jake, my ex. I'd secretly kept the photo as wallpaper after our breakup. Professor Robert paused for 2 beats before casually asking, "Do you know him?" "No particular reason. Just heard youngsters these days use photos of people they know as wallpapers." "Not your boyfriend, is it?" My mind blanked. I'd frequently cited my boyfriend as an excuse for missing campus events, though he'd never materialized. Lately, Professor Robert had grown skeptical. On impulse, I rubbed my nose. "Professor, you guessed right." He hummed meaningfully but became noticeably warmer. The next day en route to the cafeteria, Professor Robert called again, chuckling like Santa Claus. "Emily, haven't eaten yet?" "No, Professor." I blinked at the sudden cheeriness. "Sarah's cooked a feast today: phoenix tail shrimp, crab roe lion's head meatballs, braised pork ribs." My stomach growled despite myself. The oddness of the invitation got buried under hunger. How could a student refuse their advisor? "Send me the address. I'm on my way." Before I could ring the bell, the door swung open. A beaming woman pulled me inside. "You must be Emily. Come in. Come in." I pasted on a smile, mentally preparing for the incoming storm. "I'm Emily. Mrs. Clark. Just call me Sarah. We might need to change that title soon anyway." Her grin stretched ear to ear as I froze mid-step. She tugged my hand toward the kitchen and hollered, "Robert, bring your son out here." "Son? The professor's son? Why would they invite me to a family dinner?" Robert scrambled out, wiping his hands. "Right away, dear." I stifled a laugh. Who knew the esteemed professor was a henpecked husband? My amusement died instantly when he announced, "Son, I brought your girlfriend home." "Girlfriend? Me? Since when did I get promoted from student to daughter-in-law?" "Professor, you can't just claim people as relatives. Is this punishment for my academic shortcuts?" But he knows I have a... Before I could untangle this mess, that voice cut through the air. "What girlfriend?" "I don't." The familiar baritone choked off. One glimpse of his profile sent me frantically yanking my baseball cap back on. Damn it all. Who could have guessed Robert's son was Jake? I should have washed my hair last night, or changed out of this ratty white cotton tee and plaid pajama pants combo. Too late now. Could I bolt? Any convenient wall cracks to disappear into? My head sank lower. Envy gripped me. Turtles could retreat into shells. The horror escalated as Sarah chirped, "No wonder you avoided coming home. Hiding your relationship until I spotted Emily's wallpaper yesterday." My ears burned crimson. Wallpaper? Exactly. Treat her right. Young man. Professor. Please. I'm being skinned alive here. Jake tilted his head, slow smirk unfurling. "Oh. Emily, my girlfriend?" That mocking lilt. Same voice that had haunted me since I ghosted him years ago. Who survives this level of humiliation? Stealing myself. I lifted my chin to meet his narrowed gaze. With a sinking heart, I greeted him. "Hello, Jake." What a coincidence. My smile must have looked strained. Even Mrs. Clark noticed something was off. "You two know each other so well. Why the formal greeting? Was this too sudden?" "Don't be nervous. We're just overjoyed and got carried away." I froze under Mrs. Clark's expectant gaze, suddenly realizing this lie couldn't continue. Drawing a deep breath, I prepared to explain. Strong arms yanked me into an embrace. "Mom, Dad, you're scaring her." Jake's mouth twitched as he confessed. "I didn't mean to hide it. You two are just too nosy. Emily's still a student. Stop monopolizing her time." Robert's reminder made me recall all the excuses I'd fabricated. Meeting Jake's puzzled eyes, I forced an awkward smile. Before I could explain, Robert pressed. "Where did you go yesterday?" "She forgot her phone. You should have reminded her." I couldn't take it anymore. Did he believe every word I said? "We went hiking and had a picnic." I blurted. "A picnic? Where?" "Your mother mentioned wanting to picnic recently." My smile froze. Why did this have follow-up questions? Jake rescued me. "Enough interrogation, old man. I'm taking her to wash up." Sarah nudged Robert toward the kitchen. "Stop prying. Go serve dinner." "In the bathroom." I sighed in relief. "Thanks for saving me." Jake scrubbed his hands under the faucet. "I wasn't helping you. I was protecting my dear girlfriend." My cheeks burned. Had I known you were Robert's son? His gaze sharpened. "Who else would you have chosen?" The unspoken answer hung between us. He sighed. "If you had a real boyfriend, we should clarify this now." I clutched his sleeve desperately. "Since we're in this mess, can't we keep pretending a bit longer?" Puppy eyes locked with his intense stare. I pleaded. "Please?" His Adam's apple bobbed before he looked away. "I won't be someone's rebound." "What rebound? You claimed to be with your boyfriend yesterday." "I was with my bet all day." "Literally." He raised his eyebrows, radiating joy. "Then I'll reluctantly agree." "All right, Jake." He froze against the wall, suddenly silent. Why had this guy transformed into the thinker? Why were his ears turning red? Confused, I shook my head. After washing my hands, I stared at the towel rack. Which one had Jake used earlier? As I hesitated, a towel draped over my hand. "This one, Emily." Robert emerged from the kitchen. "Eat before it gets cold." I lavished praise. "Mrs. Clark, your cooking is amazing." "Eat more then. You're too thin." Sarah kept adding dishes to my bowl until it resembled a mountain. I protested. "Really? This is enough. Help yourself whenever you want." First-time guests often feel awkward. Don't stand on ceremony with me. The serving bowl before me looked larger than both my hands combined. I sighed inwardly. I wasn't being polite. "Mrs. Clark, leaving food uneaten would be mortifying." A soft chuckle came from my side. Jake rested his chin on his palm, smirking. Sarah frowned. "What's so funny? You're not serving Emily." His chopsticks finally moved. Panicking, I stared at the utensils while shooting him warning looks. The chopsticks veered midair, landing in my bowl only to remove food. "What are you doing, Jake?" Sarah demanded. He answered calmly. "First, she hates bell peppers. Second, she's got a sparrow's appetite, all greed. No capacity. Your portion could burst her stomach." My heart skipped. Since when did he know me so well? We'd only dated 6 months. Sarah's eyes sparkled like she was shipping us. "Emily, I'm thrilled. Just relax." I forced a smile. "Thank you." Mrs. Clark. Sitting in their living room felt like enduring a bed of nails. On one side sat Sarah Clark. On the other sat Professor Robert Clark. Jake Miller sat across from them. To avoid awkwardness, I initiated conversation. Sarah, does Jake take after your family name? Indeed. We drew lots years ago to decide whose surname he'd carry. She replied, smiling. I got lucky with the draw. She added meaningfully, when you two have children someday. The surname won't matter in our family. Her obvious eagerness for grandchildren made me wince internally. If only she knew her son's situation. Clearly Jake hadn't shared that with his parents yet. I shot him a sympathetic glance. He immediately lowered his head, peeling fruit with frantic intensity, the knife flashing in his nervous hands. Maintaining polite composure, I shifted topics. You and Robert seem so close. We've known each other since high school, over 30 years now. Sarah beamed. Her eyes suddenly sharpened with curiosity. Speaking of which, how did you and Jake meet? My tongue slipped before my brain engaged. I barely caught myself. Mental alarms blaring. Admitting we met during Drunken Truth or Dare at a bar would be disastrous. Robert raised an eyebrow. Online. I blurted. I'd be happy to share the full story another time. A porcelain plate clinked before me, meticulously sliced fruits arranged like edible jewelry. Each piece uniform. Even the bitter pith stripped from orange segments. The familiar presentation startled me. This was exactly how he'd prepared snacks during our previous arrangement. Sarah nudged the single fork toward me with a teasing grin. Planning to share that plate. Jake? Flushing. I stared at my lap. Jake wordlessly produced 2 more forks. Avoiding eye contact. Patience. Mom. I wasn't finished arranging. Undeterred, Sarah pressed. Emily. How long have you two been dating? Jake should formally visit your family soon. With winter break approaching next month, perhaps our families could. Panic surged as her words accelerated toward marriage plans. I stammered. Sarah. Perhaps we should. Jake finally intervened. Mom. Emily hasn't even graduated yet. There's no rush. Exactly. Robert chimed in, adjusting his glasses. Let the girl finish her thesis first. He added dryly. Given her current academic performance, that might take considerable effort. My jaw dropped. Jake's snort of laughter earned him my fiercest glare. Did this man have any concept of how brutal graduate thesis writing was? Stop laughing. Go walk Emily to school safely. I wanted to say it wasn't necessary. Jake had already reached the doorway. Seeing me frozen, he raised his voice. Aren't we leaving? I snapped back to reality and bid farewell to Professor Robert and Mrs. Sarah. The moment we stepped downstairs, I spoke up. You can go back. No need to walk me. Shouldn't a boyfriend escort his girlfriend? Ex-boyfriend and ex-girlfriend. I corrected. Emily. How can you turn cold the moment we step out? He lazily cradled his head. Mom gave explicit instructions. I'm to see you to your dorm entrance. But I have my ride. Then take me along. I patted the battered second-hand scooter before us. The handlebar was even held together with my duct tape repairs. You really want to ride this? Yes. I accelerated recklessly. His tall frame hunched comically on the rear seat, long legs dangling awkwardly. The scooter bucked violently with every pebble, launching us half a meter airborne over minor bumps. He suddenly wrapped arms around my waist. Emily. Let me drive instead. I wriggled to shake him off. Relax. This baby's rock solid. 3 years and counting. Next instant, a massive pothole sent us careening. I flew sideways only to land cradled against Jake's chest as we crashed. His pained grunt muffled against my hair. Scrambling up, I frantically checked him over. Quit groping. I'm fine, he rasped. My attention snapped to the disaster behind us. Tire detached. Handlebar snapped. Frame twisted beyond recognition. Ugh. I wanted to cry. Such excellent quality. He deadpanned. This was his fault. If he hadn't insisted on crowding the seat. I whirled around glaring. You're paying for repairs. He didn't argue. Pulling out his phone. Transferred. My anger evaporated at the notification. $10,000. Repairs won't cost this much. The death trap was barely worth $50. Buy something that won't kill you next time. You could at least pretend to care about my well-being. He snorted quietly. You dumped me. Not hating you is charity enough. I froze. Searching his face. Why are your eyes red? You were so quick to break up back then. My gaze fell on his wrist. And suddenly I understood. It must hurt. You got injured and didn't say anything? Come on. Let's go to the campus clinic. It's just a scratch. I frowned. Does it hurt? Keep acting tough and I'll leave you here. He hastily grabbed my hand. Hurts. The doctor disinfected and bandaged his wound. I kept fussing over his hand, inspecting it repeatedly. Jake looked down at me, his Adam's apple bobbing. Emily, you're worried about me? I clicked my tongue. Wrong word choice. This is called guilt. You left perfectly fine this morning but came back with an injured hand. His mouth twitched downward. Don't worry, I'll go back to my own place later. I stiffened. You don't need to report your whereabouts to me. He fell silent until we reached the dormitory entrance. Emily, why did you really break up with me? His detached tone made me pause. Because you. The reason burned my tongue. Stubbornly lodged in my throat. Weird, hadn't he agreed readily enough 3 years ago? Shouldn't this be obvious? Because what? I eyed him nervously. You aren't still hung up on me, are you? Jake regained his frosty composure. Humph. As if. I patted my chest. Good. That's good. His stare grew increasingly resentful as I obliviously offered consolation. Hope you find a girl who'll put up with you soon. What's the use of being handsome? All looks. No substance. Not for me. Better suited as phone wallpaper. My thesis is a nightmare. The draft paper got rejected after countless revisions. Scrolling mindlessly, I found a parody song that spoke to my soul and reposted it online, making sure to block the professor's group chat. No matter how I edit. You're never satisfied. Who could keep coherent after endless changes? Should I test him with the original draft? The comments overflowed with commiseration. One stabbed particularly deep frowny face. Don't. He takes this seriously. Oh no. I forgot Jake was readed yesterday. Didn't adjust the privacy settings. My grinning face immediately straightened up. With trembling hands, I opened the chat window. Poor little lazy sheep. JPG, can we pretend you didn't see that? Jake replied instantly, not really. That sounded hopeful. Name your terms. Anything within my power. 3 minutes later, he finally responded, deal. You owe me. I exhaled in relief. It's so difficult. Want me to take a look? You didn't go to grad school. Can you even understand academic papers? Outstanding undergraduate thesis. JPG, okay. He had some credentials. My undergrad thesis was a complete disaster. But after some thought, I sighed. No thanks. If your dad finds out, we'll both land in hot water. He dropped the subject. Still editing your paper tomorrow? Rented a place. Moving tomorrow. Need help? No. He stopped replying. I didn't mind. The apartment was rented through Ryan. Upon arriving, I eagerly explored. 2-bedroom apartment. Not too small? It's fine. I'm living alone. No need for space. Had friends help rent it. This neighborhood's safe. For a girl living alone, security matters. Ryan suddenly turned serious, but don't go out at night. I rented this behind mom and dad's back. Stay low key, or we'll both be in deep trouble. Got it. I'll be careful. I walked to the bedroom, testing the mattress. Nice and soft. My phone rang. Jake calling. What did he want? Did the professor and his wife find out? I answered quickly. Silence. Ryan entered with a duvet cover. Washed this. Want it on now? He paused, seeing me on the phone. I waved it was fine. Go ahead. Reconsidering. I added. Actually. Leave it. I'll handle it later. Jake's voice finally came through. Hoarse and tense. Emily. What are you doing? Distracted. I bumped into the bed frame. The pain brought tears to my eyes, sending my phone skidding across the floor. I hissed through clenched teeth. That hurts. My brother Ryan immediately crouched beside me. Let me check. His fingers barely grazed my swollen ankle, making me yelp. Easy. Ryan. Looks like you'll have trouble walking tomorrow, he observed as the doorbell erupted into urgent chimes. We exchanged puzzled glances. We just moved into this rental. Who could possibly be here? Emily. Open this door. The shout made my heart stutter. My gaze darted to my discarded phone, still playing audio messages near the shoe rack. Before I could react, Ryan swung the door open. He sized up the furious young man standing rigidly in our doorway. Are you Emily's friend? Jake stood trembling with bloodshot eyes, his breathing ragged. He shouldered past Ryan without breaking eye contact with me, staring as if I'd committed some unforgivable crime. I told you I won't be anyone's replacement. I blinked rapidly, trying to signal him, but he completely missed the cues. His fist clenched around my apartment key. You said you weren't dating anyone. Ryan extended his hand with quiet authority. Ryan. Emily's brother. Full-blooded sibling. The color drained from Jake's face as he whipped his head toward me. When I shrugged helplessly, Jake turned back to Ryan and tentatively repeated, Brother. Ryan stepped aside without acknowledging the address. I'll pack the first aid kit. The moment he left, Jake's defensive posture crumpled. He knelt before me like a scolded puppy, red-rimmed eyes softening with concern. Then earlier when he trailed off. I pointed at my bandaged ankle, walked into the coffee table. Remorse flooded his features. Without another word, Jake began tidying our half-unpacked living room. When I tried to help, he gently pressed me back onto the couch. For the next hour, his restless energy manifested in obsessive organizing, folding throw blankets, alphabetizing books, even gutting the sea bass Ryan had bought for dinner. I watched his domestic frenzy with growing unease. This felt too much like when we dated. Ryan reappeared carrying medical supplies. Eyebrow arched at the spotless apartment. Boyfriend? Ex. I corrected quietly. Who also happens to be my faculty advisor's son. My brother Ryan said firmly. He still likes you. I nodded and sighed. I can tell. Why break up? Don't you like him anymore? It's not exactly that. Just. Ryan gave me a puzzled look. At that moment, Jake called us for dinner. Ryan helped me walk over. Under Jake's expectant gaze, Ryan finally nodded. Not bad cooking. Jake's eyes lit up, the gloom instantly lifting. Thanks, bro. Forgot to introduce myself. I'm Jake Miller, 26, computer science major. Co-founded a gaming company that's doing pretty well now. 6 feet 2 inches. Body ma, I coughed loudly. Jake immediately clamped his mouth shut. Ryan suddenly chuckled. Let me introduce myself too. I'm Ryan Green, 33, doctor at North River General Hospital. Doctor. That's impressive. Jake smiled brightly, clearly not recognizing Ryan. Understandable, Ryan always wore masks during consultations. To prevent future awkwardness. I added. Ryan's particularly renowned in urology. I emphasized the last word. Ryan shot me a suspicious glance while Jake's smile froze mid-air. The cheerful atmosphere turned to quiet. Jake. Ryan suddenly said. I meant to ask earlier, have we met somewhere? Jake forced a laugh. Must have passed each other on the street. After dinner. Jake left abruptly for urgent business. I sighed repeatedly. Robert and Sarah would have been heartbroken seeing this. When Ryan developed stomach issues later, our mother made me deliver lunches to his distant hospital. One noon at his department entrance, I spotted a masked young man exiting with documents, Jake. Unmistakable despite the face covering, his eyes rimmed red. I numbly read the department plaque. Dread pulling in my stomach. No, after Jake left, I handed Ryan his lunch. He returned to an unlocked computer. The screen glared patient, Jake Miller diagnosis, erectile dysfunction. I stared until the words blurred. The world tilted. He'd seemed perfect during our 6 months together. How could he be defective? For days I hesitated as Jake grew increasingly withdrawn. One midnight, I finally blurted, maybe we should break up. He agreed instantly. Lying in bed at night, thinking of Jake, I couldn't fall asleep. Opening a certain app, I scrolled through Ab's photos. Boldly, I commented under a post, saw your lean muscles. Can I see more? I received tons of LOL and bold move replies. As I chuckled, a top-liked comment surfaced. Netizens urged me to check it out. Everyone craving drama. Don't look at his. I'll show you mine. My smile froze. I clicked the profile. It was completely blank. Not even a username. Who's this? Giving up. I replied, sure. Show me. My phone buzzed moments later. Not from that app, but from WeChat. Jake had sent a photo. My eyelid twitched. I took a deep breath and opened it. A neckline down selfie with deliberate lighting. My soul left my body. That account was Jake's. How did he find me? Was he stalking my feed? Gotta admit, those defined abs made me zoom in repeatedly. The V line disappeared into his waistband. I swallowed hard. Originally sleepless because of him. Now wide awake. Want to see lower? I sneered. What's there to see from a guy like him? Channeling meme energy. I rapid-fired replies, the moon's huge tonight. Speaking of huge, yours is kinda the opposite. Jake instantly responded. This joke's forced. Speaking of hard, yours is kinda the opposite. Jake? This joke's crude. Speaking of thickness, yours is definitely the opposite. He stopped replying. Victory claimed. I happily scrolled through videos. After a few clips, the doorbell rang. Goosebumps erupted across my skin. Am I really going to encounter criminals on my first night living alone? My mind flashed with crime headlines. The more I thought about it, the more I trembled. When my phone rang again with Jake's call, unexpected relief washed over me. I answered immediately. It's me. I'm outside your door. The hallway lights on. Check through the peephole. Startled, I stumbled into my slippers to open the door. Why are you here? And how did you? My words died as he pinned my wrists against the wall. His breathing came ragged, eyes bloodshot. I came to prove you wrong face to face. Heat flooded my cheeks, remembering my earlier boldness. You pervert! My shove barely moved him. He leaned closer to my ear, sounding wounded. Why would you ever think that? His warm breath made my pulse spike. Was his pride hurt? Avoiding his gaze, I mumbled, "It's just an internet meme." His fingers tightened under my chin, forcing eye contact. "Emily, something's off about you." Panicking, I shoved hard. "Nonsense." My injured ankle buckled as I tried to flee. He caught me mid-fall, lifting me against his chest. The thin nightgown provided zero protection against our sudden closeness. My brain short-circuited as I blurted, "But I thought you had issues." Understanding dawned, then fury. "When did I ever say that? Did you magically cure me?" "Emily, I've never had any damn problems." "What insane rumor." "Oh shit. I'd really done it now." Wriggling free, I snapped. "I saw you using Ryan's medical account." All color drained from his face. "You knew?" At my nod, he inhaled sharply. "I'm not sick." The medical records were crystal clear. System error mixed up patient files. He gripped my shoulders. "Your brother nearly gave me heart failure that day." "Wait, Emily. Did you break up with me over this?" I studied the floorboards, cheeks burning. She mumbled softly, "But you agreed to?" His Adam's apple bobbed as if regretful. "You used to call me baby before." I blinked. His gaze dimmed. "When you suddenly stopped those days, I thought you'd grown tired of me." So, he left it hanging. But I understood. Having mentally prepared myself, I wasn't surprised he'd agreed without protest during our breakup. The realization left a bitter taste. I cleared my throat. "Let's make this fake relationship real then." Jake's eyes lit up before he feigned reluctance. "If we upgrade just because you say so." "Where's my dignity?" "Fine. I'll take it back." He immediately grimaced. "My bad. Don't withdraw it." 15 minutes later, we lay side by side on the single mattress in the guest room, no blankets. Just thick awkwardness hanging between us. Though we dated 6 months, it had been completely platonic. Just talking. Occasionally a peck on the lips. Never like this. Whether from overheated radiators or the heavy comforter. Restless heat prickled my skin. "Are you hot?" "A bit." His voice sounded strained. Turning, I saw fine sweat beading his forehead. "What's wrong?" When he stayed silent, I shifted closer and reached to check his temperature. Suddenly he flipped me onto my back, eyes darkening with labored breaths. "Emily." His burning body pressed against mine. "Are you actually clueless or pretending?" Understanding dawned. My ears burned. "Why, you should take a cold shower." He buried his face in my neck with a frustrated groan. "Stop reading those trashy novels." Taking cold showers in winter? Trying to kill me? I moistened my lips. Maybe I could help. 10 minutes later, I stared at my palm in existential crisis. Jake wordlessly pulled me against his chest from behind. Drifting to sleep. I suddenly remembered. "If you're not sick, why were you visiting my brother Ryan?" He froze, then whined pitifully. "Believe me, this isn't my normal performance level." During winter break, I rode my bike to pick up Jake. It's still the second round, but it's top tier. I came early and planned to go upstairs for a visit. Just as I got out of the elevator, someone shouted from afar. "Sister-in-law." I turned my head and vaguely recognized that it was one of Jake's friends. His hair was dyed half red and half yellow. He was wearing a green piece of clothing. It was like a traffic light all put together. "Sister-in-law, are you here to see Brother Jake?" I greeted him with a big smile. "Hello. You are quite fashionable." He looked a bit panicked. "Don't get me wrong. I'm definitely not a hooligan." Then he scratched his head shyly. "My girlfriend dyed it to test which color looks better so she can dye hers." I nodded obediently. No misunderstanding. Don't worry. Sister-in-law. Brother Jake is in a meeting. Let me accompany you and wait for a while. Do you want coffee? The coffee beans we bought this time smell so good. Let me make you a cup. I nodded shyly. Sure. Thanks. Thanks for what? I should thank you for coming back. Brother Jake has been so motivated recently that even 5 bulls couldn't hold him back. He put the coffee in front of me. Sister-in-law. You don't know. After you two broke up back then, I accompanied him to drink. Brother Jake cried like a boiling kettle. He was all over my nose in tears. I was a bit stunned. He was that sad? Absolutely. I was the one who sent the WeChat message agreeing to the breakup. He said he didn't dare to click send. After I clicked, he just sat there holding his phone all night. Suddenly, my heart felt sour and bitter. I lowered my eyes. Then why didn't he ask me? This friend was a blabbermouth. Although I don't quite understand it either. Maybe love makes people timid. Back then, he fell in love with you at first sight as soon as he entered the bar. Love at first sight? Aw. Didn't Brother Jake tell you? Did I say too much? He forced a dry laugh. I signaled him that it was okay and I'd take the responsibility. That day, I was playing truth or dare with my friends. When it was my turn to take the punishment, I chose the dare. The content was to find a strange opposite-sex person present and flick them on the forehead. I scanned around, and only Jake at the bar counter seemed easygoing. I walked over. Just as I got beside him, I nervously asked, "Hello. Flick, date." I was stunned. He turned his head and stared at me. Date. Okay. Although I didn't know why he agreed so quickly. I thought he was really a nice guy. I was extremely grateful. So, under his gaze, I reached out and flicked him on the forehead. Then I bowed a little and sincerely thanked him. He seemed to just come to his senses and nervously took several sips of his drink. You're welcome. It's just a forehead flick. Easy. Later, we added each other on WeChat, and I became more and more attracted to the photos in his moments. It was me who proposed to date. At that time, I didn't understand that the date he meant was not the same as what I said. You came so early. Why didn't you send me a message? I came back to my senses. His friend left guiltily. Brother Jake. You go back with sister-in-law. I'll go and get busy. Jake was a bit confused. There's nothing much to do today. That night, I verified something. At his happiest moment, I raised an eyebrow and leaned close to his ear, enunciating each syllable deliberately. Love at first sight? Jake stiffened, gritting his teeth. No wonder he's been acting so strange today. Seeing my amusement, he suddenly moved. We'll discuss the rest tomorrow. His breath warmed my neck as he whispered. Tonight I'll thoroughly demonstrate my capabilities. During New Year celebrations, Sarah finally got her wish, beaming with joy while Robert looked equally delighted. Our two families shared a reunion dinner. Ryan sat beside me, casually mentioning, "By the way, I remembered something about Jake. He came to my clinic once." Lowering his voice conspiratorially, he added, "We had a paperwork mix-up that day. The poor guy got so frightened he cried rivers, we actually ran out of tissues." The mental image of Jake sobbing in Ryan's office struck me as absurdly comical. This must be his most embarrassing memory. Curiosity piqued. I asked, "What exactly happened that day?" Ryan cleared his throat awkwardly, mumbling 4 evasive words, excessive nocturnal activities. Before I could process this, our mother called me away. Later that night in bed, I pinned Jake's wandering hands. "Not tonight." His puppy dog eyes pleaded as he grasped my fingers. "Then help me?" Suddenly remembering Ryan's words, I flipped us over, trapping him beneath me. Those nightly phone calls we used to have. My fingers crept under his shirt, tracing defined abs before drifting lower. What exactly were you doing while talking to me? Jake stammered, avoiding eye contact. Jay, just chatting with you. My disbelieving laugh faded as I issued the command, lights out. Darkness swallowed the room, followed by rustling clothes and muffled laughter. What happens in the dark stays in the dark.